Hey friends, it's Jess and welcome to my craft room tour for 2022. Full disclosure, this is not actually my craft room any longer. I have since moved down into the room directly below this one, which was our garage but has since been converted into a studio space for me. So this is a little outdated now. I haven't completely finished setting up the new room yet, but I'll have a tour eventually when I get that all done and set up for you. This room wasn't actually completed, so you will notice there's kind of some things that are sort of unfinished. We were in the process of using this room for my studio and getting everything set up and custom built. My husband was doing a lot of that work for me, but unfortunately we needed the space. We welcomed a new baby girl into our home in November. So in the time leading up to that, while I was pregnant, we were working on making more room in our house so that our two boys could share this room that you're seeing now, and we would still have a room for the new baby. That's why I moved down to the garage. I actually really liked this space a lot, and hopefully you can maybe get some inspiration on how to do your room if you're looking to change things up a little bit, maybe pick things that you like and make it work for your space. So far, I have just been kind of showing a pan or tour of the room just so you can get an idea of how the space is laid out. And then I will be going into a little bit more depth on kind of what the areas are and how I use them. So this area here is mostly custom built shelving. I'm using IKEA KALLAX drawers, and my husband built me some frames for them that worked with this space. Now this is a room over the garage, so the ceiling is slanted. The room goes back a little bit farther behind these shelves, but we decided to build the shelving in so that the ceiling felt taller, even though it meant we were going to lose some space in the room. Then I was able to just put those KALLAX drawers right into the frames that my husband built, and they look so cute. I absolutely love these. I was really heartbroken we weren't able to take these down and use them in the new room. This is my Copic marker storage. I got this off of a shop on Etsy, and I store it in my IKEA cart. I think it's called the Raskog cart. This is just a bunch of florals behind the door. This is a would-be closet, but it actually has a staircase to the right that leads down into our kitchen. But that's where I store all my wreaths and wreath-making supplies like silk flowers and that sort of thing. This is where I store all of my die-cut stickers. These are vinyl or water-resistant stickers that I have illustrated and then printed and cut myself. These little containers are actually from Harbor Freight. If you're not familiar with Harbor Freight, it's like a hardware store, kind of like Home Depot, but not. And I got those little bins from there. They were fairly cheap, but the price has gone up quite a bit, unfortunately, with inflation and everything. So they're not as reasonable as they were before, but I really like that tilt out and the clear front. It really looks nice for my sticker storage. This that I'm showing here is my button storage. I have a button maker, and I have illustrated and made these buttons. And then I put them on this wire grid panel that I got from storesupplywarehouse.com. It is just a big, I think 2x6 maybe panel. And I'm able to put these hooks on it and hang all of my merchandise. I don't use this in my new room now. However, I have saved it to use when I go to craft shows. It comes, or not comes with, but you can purchase these little baskets or bins to put on as well. And I actually was able to use these with my new slat wall. So I'm storing some greeting cards in there. You can see I have my tote bags on the pegs. Those tote bags, unfortunately, are all seconds. From when I was learning how to make the tote bags, there were a lot of errors. You can see I've just got some blank tote bags there. I've got my stickers stored here. So these are planner stickers that I have printed on a weatherproof or water resistant matte sticker paper, and then cut those to size. They're kiss cut so you can peel the sticker right off. And then I'm working on kind of a little storage system for them here in these little clear plastic bins. Those are from IKEA in the bathroom section actually, but they work really good for storing craft supplies. I store all of my 12 by 12 cardstock in these dividers in the KALLAX unit over here. This is from IKEA, both the shelving unit and the dividers. And it works really well for separating and kind of dividing up the 12 by 12 cardstock, whether it's paper pads or from a particular brand, any of that. And I do like to keep it fairly full so that they don't bend too much, because when you store them vertically, that is an issue. But the cool thing about those inserts is you can use them horizontally or vertically. So whatever works best for you is a go. In this KALLAX unit, I have a variety of different things. I have some clear bins here with my 6x6 stamps. I have stamped what the background stamp looks like on the front on just a piece of cardstock. So all of my packaging looks the same, but they fit nicely and neatly in there, and you can still see what the stamp is. I've got my 6x8 stamp sets stored in these clear sleeves so you can see what's in them, and they're just in some metal baskets. I've got some scrapbook albums and things like that. I do also use this wine rack divider or holder that I got also from IKEA to store a variety of little items. So I've got my stickles and my liquid pearls, and then a bunch of keychains that I have yet to list on my website, even though I made them ages ago. So I've got those in there and they fit really nicely. These are also more of those bathroom storage units that I got from IKEA. So you can see they work really well for things around the craft room. This is my printer station. I've got a Dymo label printer. I use that Epson on the top as my sublimation printer. That Canon is just sort of for regular printing, whatever. I store my paper down below there, and then I have my Silhouette and a big fat Epson that I was using for printing out my stickers. I've since got another smaller Epson just because it takes up less space and it's newer, so the maintenance on it and the ink cost is a lot lower. I've just got some bins down here at the bottom that have a variety of things, some packaging, some random stuff from when I stream on Twitch. There's a whole lot of random things in there, but I keep them all in there just so that they're kind of out of sight and I can pull it out when I need them. And again, more packaging. These are kind of just things that I tuck away because they're not super pretty to look at. But they have a purpose in my craft room. This drawer my husband actually built for me. It has a slider and pull out function. And then we put in a file folder rack thing that I bought on Amazon. And it fits nicely to hold some of my 8.5 by 11 cardstock. All of these ribbons, which I don't really use too often anymore, but you never know when you might need some. So I'm hesitant to get rid of them. They're all stored on this wooden rack or storage system that my husband made for me. I really like that. I'm able to see them all and pick just the right one. This is a greeting card storage container also made by my husband. It's just made out of thin MDF, and I created some little dividers in there to sort by season or theme or whatever the card is, like a birthday card or a thank you card, just to make it easier to find, because I literally have hundreds of cards, and it can make it difficult to find the one you're looking for. This is probably one of my favorite things that I have in my craft room, which is my ink pad storage. I got those Spectrum Noir ink pad holders on Amazon. Those will be linked down in the description below, and they store my distress inks and distress oxides so perfectly and beautifully. Underneath that, I've got a nail polish holder on which I store my sprays from Dina Wakley and some of my Nuvo drops and things like that. And then I use these fridge bins that hold my clear stamp sets, and I've got those divided up. I saw this from Jennifer McGuire, and I've been using this system for years now, thanks to her, and they're so beautiful and well organized. I absolutely love it. Underneath those, I have my KALLAX drawers, like I mentioned earlier. I'm not going to go into every single item in every drawer, but I will open most of them and show you what's inside. So in the top drawer, I have lots of adhesives. This is kind of a drawer of doom, but it is useful. This drawer has lots of backgrounds that I've created but haven't used yet. So I always have a big stash of those that I keep just in case I want to make a card out of them, but I don't have time to do it like a background already. This one I've got a bunch of paints and pastes. Those are more craft oriented versus card making. This is a drawer full of extra supplies, so duplicates that I might have or refills. And the bottom is not very well used, but it's full of gesso and that sort of thing. This drawer is for brushes and different tools. I have my masking tape and sticky notes, my spatulas, craft knives, palette knives, paintbrushes, my fork for tying ribbons and bows. Lots of cool stuff in there. I got a drawer full of blending tools, so replacement foams and the actual blending tool part. This drawer is all for embossing stuff. So I've got my heat tool embossing inks from a couple different companies, my anti-static powder tool, some of my favorite embossing powders. This is another drawer for extra embossing stuff. So I've got more of those items down there. And then this one is all for threads and things like that. Full disclosure, and just so you guys know, I do a lot of work for companies as a designer. So I have a lot of things from a lot of different brands, but you absolutely don't need this much stuff. I just work with a few different companies and they want you to use their products. So I end up with a lot of things from a lot of different companies. Whereas if I were doing it just on my own, I probably would just pick one company for each type of item and then go with that. So keep that in mind. You don't need all this stuff. Top drawer. Well, anyway, I'm not going to go into every single thing, but you can see what's in the drawers here. I've got colored pencils and punches, corner chompers, all sorts of things. Some of these drawers are completely random. This one has a lot of punches and like tools for making things like punch boards or whatever they're called. This one is a disaster. It's full of envelopes of a million different sizes, shapes, and colors. I just like to keep a lot of things because I end up using a lot of random stuff and you never know when you're going to need it. Like this drawer full of paper scraps. Eventually, sometime very soon, I'm going to have to go through these and organize them and get rid of some, whatever I'm not maybe going to use. Maybe I can give it to my kids, things like that. This has more office supplies. It has my scale that I use for weighing my packages and envelopes. This is more paints, pastes, and sprays. I'm working on better organization for these in the new room downstairs, but it is what it is. This is alcohol inks and their associated tools. Then I also have some miscellaneous coloring stuff. I have these amazing things, these Iconic pens from Arteza that I'm supposed to do a video on that I've had for a million years, and it's on my list, but life just keeps getting me. In this drawer, this is the wide short Alex units, kind of to the right. I have all my stuff that I use for packing orders, so tissue paper, cards for thank yous and all that. Underneath that, I have a whole drawer full of foam tape, because you need a lot of foam tape. That one's all for gel plates and rollers and things like that. More paints and pastes, so Stickles, some Dina Wakley pastes, I don't know, whole lot of random stuff. This is more mixed media stuff, so it has random bits and bobs, cardboard and lace and things like that. And this is some extra alcohol ink that didn't fit in the other one. This drawer is full of stamp positioners. I've got acrylic blocks and a million Misties, and I absolutely love the Misty. If you don't have one, you should definitely get one if it's in your budget, because they are a lifesaver. In these drawers, I have more ink pads. That's my Simon Hurley inks, and then some archival and all my random black inks that I have. This is my Hero Arts Shadow inks. Absolutely love these. They're great for having a variety of colors, but like I said, pick the line that you want and go with that. This is full of nail polish stuff for the rare occasion that I actually do my nails for a video. That's a rare treat. And the bottom is embellishments, so sequins, drops, and jewels and things like that. In these units that are called Besta, they're like actually supposed to be an entertainment or console system from IKEA. I have a lot of random stuff. So I've got dies, extra ribbons, extra stamps, and pegs for my peg wall. A million notebooks. I store some of my paper in those bins, like kind of the teal and turquoise sort of bins. And then I had some jewelry making supplies on the right side as well. These drawers, you just push to open them and then they just open, so there's no handle. In here, I have all of my labeling and organizing sort of things. So sleeves for my stamp sets to be stored in, as well as finished cards to be stored in. So there's different sleeves for different kinds of things. And then down below that, I just have some cleaning supplies and my hot glue guns. So that's just cleaning stuff for keeping the room tidy, which honestly, I hardly ever use this drawer. That's probably embarrassing to admit, but We're being real, right? This is the the cold hard truth of craft rooms. In this drawer, I have some of my stuff for my heat press. So some of the pillows or pads that I use when I'm pressing my tote bags, some extra Teflon sheets, printing papers, extra mouse pads that have been either like messed up or then when they might be seconds. I need to maybe do a seconds sale and clear those out so I don't just have a big stash of those, but that's what's in there. And then a lint roller, because, you know, when you do the tote bags and things like that, it is good to get all the lint that you can't really see off. And then in the bottom drawer, I have a ton of mouse mat blanks. So those are blank before I print my designs on them and like sublimate them. In this drawer, I have all of my toner and foil stuff. So I have a mini mink. It's kind of like a laminator in that it gets hot, but it basically just lets me transfer the foil directly to toner images. Or whatever foil can stick to. In this one, I have lots of office supplies, so extra packing tape, labels for my Dymo printer, extra ink for the printers, I don't know, all kinds of random stuff. It's not super interesting. And then in this one, I have lots of vinyl. It's super disorganized, but I've got some different colors of vinyl and different types of vinyl in there, as well as the clear vinyl that I used on top of my stickers. And then in the bottom drawer, which I apparently cannot get open because what the heck, I have a bunch of random sewing stuff. So batting and thread and little clippies and extra fabric for when I get the bug to do some sewing. In the top cabinets above that, I have my die cutting machines and some random stuff like magazines that I've been published in, some of my stamps from Maker Forte that I illustrated. So this is all designs that I sent over to them and then they made into products for me. And then random planner stuff and some business things like receipts for my purchases and some cardstock. They're not very well organized, but I'm trying. I'm hoping my room downstairs will be a little bit more organized. Up top, obviously, I have the embossing folders as well to go with the die cutting machines and then extra plates on the right. Then I also have a bunch more envelopes, tags, some extra cardstock and paper, and some pre-made card bases and things like that. These are kind of overflow from other areas. Those white bin things with the dividers are actually from scrapbook.com. Those are really handy for storing all sorts of things. So if you're interested in those, I'll try to link what I can down below. But if you have questions, feel free to ask me, leave me a comment and let me know. And I will do my very best to get back to everyone and let you know where things came from. If I can remember, and if I can link to it, I will. That's it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed the craft room tour and were able to get some inspiration for your room. If you had a favorite part, be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know. I love hearing from you guys. I hope you have a great day and a very happy new year.